Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Victoria. You can call me Vic, and today I am going to be going over travel altars. Now, if you are not familiar with what a travel altar is pretty much what it sounds like. It is a travel size altar that you can take with you pretty much anywhere you go. And when I say altar, I will say this term a little bit loosely because it could be an actual like altar space that you take with you, but oftentimes it's really just the different tools that you would use at your altar, different tools you would use for your spellcraft that you can put in a nice little portable container to take with you anywhere. Now, if you're just getting into your practice, you might be wondering why there's a need for a travel altar. I have found that the further into your craft you get, the more suddenly you might find yourself in need of a travel altar, in need of resources to cast a spell, to do some spell work. Or if you enter into spirit contracts, maybe you are supposed to do something very specific for a deity or spirit you work with on a very specific time schedule, and maybe you're out of town that week, but you still have to get it done. A travel altar can be a unique way for you to continue your workings, to give you the ability to do new workings even when you are on the go. Now, while a travel altar might not have absolutely everything that you normally would have to use for your spell work, it should have the bare necessities so that no matter where you are able to do some of the more common workings, or being a little crafty, be able to tweak things into the working that you desire. Now, when it comes to making a travel altar, it's really not as difficult as it might seem. I think, in fact, probably the hardest part to begin with is just going to be finding the container that you're going to use for your travel altar. But if you get a little bit crafty and creative, then I don't think it will be that hard to find. But do keep in mind when you are selecting the container for your travel altar that what you select really determines what you're going to be able to pack and to bring with you for the rest of your altar. If you choose something that's too small, then you might not be able to fit in as many items as you want. If it's something that's too big, then it might be really inconvenient for you to take with you places. So just keep in mind what would the right size be for you that allows you to take everything that you think you might need, but is still small enough that it's convenient and doesn't take up too much space in your bag. Now, when it comes to what type of container you are choosing, it's really up to you and what you prefer. It could be a bag, like a small cloth bag, or you could get a custom container if you wanted to be fancy with it. But if you're like me and you just want to use what you have around you, then it could be something as simple as a Pokemon card container. This is what my travel altar looks like. It is quite literally a Pokemon card container thing that my boyfriend got, and he has a ton of these little tins, and they are the perfect size for a little altar that I can bring with me anywhere. And in fact, when I went on my trip to Costa Rica, I did bring this with me because it was so convenient, and it only got me a few stairs at the TSA in the airport. If you have something like this that you want to use, but maybe you want it to be a little bit more aesthetic, you can just paint it, or you can sew a cover for it. You can really get creative. You could even use a cardboard box and piece it together, paper mache it, paint it, decorate it to make it yours. You don't have to buy something custom. You don't have to spend money at all if you don't want to. So if you're able to use something you already own, or thrift something even, then I think that can make it even more special for you. Now, if you decide to use a bag, I do recommend using a bag that has a cinch or a tie to it so that you're able to close it off. This will just prevent things from falling out of your bag if you're putting it somewhere where maybe it won't stay super still or it won't stay upright. If you do decide to use a container, I recommend using something that has a lid, or maybe finding a way to make it have a lid just to keep everything in one place. Now, when it comes to the contents of a travel altar, it's honestly very personal. There is no guidelines that dictate what you have to have inside of your altar. But if I was going to give you a few ideas, I would at the very least pack a candle. It can be something small like a tea light candle, or even one of these smaller taper candles. But having a candle, I think, would be more bare minimum items to keep in place. A candle, and then maybe a couple of matches so that you're able to light it, or a lighter if a lighter is small enough to fit into your travel altar. You might also consider putting petition paper and maybe a pen or a pencil in here so that you can write sigils, or you can burn your petition. You could put coins in here in case you wanted to make an offering, some offering incense, or if you have a very specific offering that you give to your spirits, you could put that in here as well. If you have any spirit pictures or pictures of deities or ancestors, you could also put that in here. So if you wanted to set up a miniature altar to them when you're traveling, you would have imagery that you could include for that. The same goes if you have any kind of miniature figurine that you want to put in here. I know some people get like the tiny deity figurines or the saint figurines, and you could definitely include those in your travel altar. Something that I chose to put in mine is some thread as well as needles. You never know when you might need to do maybe like a binding or maybe like some light poppet work. So I made sure to include that in mine as well. I specifically chose black thread for mine, but you could choose white thread if you wanted it to be maybe more all-purpose, not knowing what working you're going to do. You could also put maybe a couple bay leaves in there if you wanted to do some manifestations, or you could do tiny little bags of your go-to herbs that maybe are more all-encompassing of a bunch of different intentions that you might have in mind. You could, of course, put crystals in there, which is something I have done. I chose to put a quartz crystal in there, which is an amplifier, as well as some amethyst in here as well. But any of your favorite crystals that you use in workings, you could easily put in here as long as they are small enough to fit. Another one that not a lot of people think of is incense cones. A lot of times incense sticks are too big, too long to fit into these, but incense cones are the perfect size to put into a travel altar. And if you packed matches as well, that would allow you to light incense as an offering or to help cleanse a space when you're on the go. So I have these dragon's blood incense cones in mine that are my absolute favorite and also smell amazing and make the entire travel altar container just smell amazing. You could also put any kind of oils or sprays, cleansers in here that you wanted, as long as they were maybe in like travel size containers, or I know some people have like those travel perfume sprays. You could fill one of those up as well and put those in here. And another idea is you could have a mini cloth that you put in here that you could spread out to kind of have a dedicated altar cloth space as well. Now, while I don't have a cloth in here, I do have some bags that I folded up and put into mine, and that's just in case I wanted to make a charm bag of some kind. Really, the contents of your travel altar are fully up to you. You can get as creative as you want with it or be as basic as you want with it. Your travel altar could be as simple as a tea light candle and a match and maybe a pin that allows you to carve symbols into the candle, or some herbs that you could add over top of the candle. It does not have to be complicated. In fact, you could change your travel altar up every time you travel if you have a specific intention in mind. Honestly, it's whatever you want it to be. I just find it handy to have it ahead of time so that when it comes time for a trip, you can just pack it in your bag, and if you need it, you need it, and if you don't, you don't. But I have many friends that have travel altars that aren't even as fully set as this. It can be something as simple as a carrying case for a deity figurine, and when they get to the new place, they put their deity figurine in place, give it an offering, say a quick prayer, and that's it. It's really whatever you want it to be, but I find travel altars to just be very helpful, especially if you find yourself traveling often. If you're someone that maybe is wanting to do cemetery work, it can be really convenient when you go to a cemetery to have a little tin of offerings already in place. You can have some incense, you can have some coins, and have a dedicated spot for them so it's easy to access them. You're not losing them, and you don't have to worry about whether you have something or not. It just makes it a lot easier. Now, I will put in a quick reminder that when you are putting your travel altar together, I do recommend that you cleanse everything that you are assembling. So cleansing your container before you put everything in, cleansing each item as you put it in, just so you have a nice baseline level of energy for everything that's getting put in. I mean, after all, it is an altar at the end of the day, so you would want everything to be kind of energetically hygienic. Whenever you are taking things out, if you are doing spell work or if you're setting up an altar, you can also give a little clap around the space to help cleanse it as well, especially if it's been sitting still for a while, you haven't opened it a bit, just to clear out any stagnant energy. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have a travel altar or if you plan on making one. If there's any unique items that you put into yours, I'm always in need of inspiration, but this has been such a fun video to make, and I hope that it helped you all. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!